Coming up on Mountain News this morning, some of the top Republican candidates hoping to take their place as Kentucky's next governor take part in another debate. And former state representative Jonathan Schell makes a stop in our region as he hopes to become the Commonwealth's Commissioner of Agriculture.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. It is 6:02. I was about to say 6:02. It's almost 6:02. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning. And it's Tuesday. We are moving right along. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. And Brandon, I know the forecast is dreary, but I might have some good news.
Okay.
I'm here all week.
There you go.
Can't get rid of me this week.
I know.
Man, that's good news for you.
Right.
And then Friday's a pretty big day for you as well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's your birthday. But see, you don't pimp out your birthday like I do mine.
See,
I love talking about my
celebrate
birthday.
a whole month like some people do.
I love talking about my birthday. Just more attention for me.
It's just another day for me, especially when you get to be my age.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about what's going on weather-wise this morning. We're going to continue to watch some showers and some thunder out there this morning. Now, again, we've not had any severe thunderstorm warnings. What the Weather Service is choosing to do, and I don't necessarily disagree with them on this one, is they're doing like special weather statements, which is a good thing because these storms are not really meeting that criteria, but they're strong enough to be like, hey, you're going to get a lot of lightning, you're going to get some heavy rain, and that's been the case all night long. So again, the only severe warning we had was a flash flood warning that expired at 5:30. But I do have some reports real quick as we come back to live pinpoint Doppler radar of some flash flooding that came down a little earlier. Tobacco Road over in London got flooded so bad that they had to, the police department had to close a lane of that road a little bit earlier this morning around 4 o'clock. And then over into the East Bernstadt community, also in Laurel County, water reported over the roadway at Highway 3094 and Highway 490. So again, be careful out there this morning. Thankfully, it looks like the bulk of the rain has moved out of that area. Down in Somerset, we're seeing some light traffic moving around down that way. One of the warmer spots in the region, 68 downtown there this morning. And again, as we continue to track across the region and kind of look across the area with temperatures, very mild starts today. 58 in Clintwood, everybody on 56 in Grundy, but everybody else is basically in the 60s and low 70s out there. Ashland at 58 as well, but everybody else for sure now in the 50s, or excuse me, 60s and low 70s out there as you make your way through your day. We're going to continue to talk about the forecast and how it's going to clear up for the next couple of days coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Kentucky voters will head to the polls in 1 week to choose which candidates will face off in the November gubernatorial election. On Monday night, our sister station, WKYT, hosted a debate among several Republican gubernatorial candidates. 5 were invited, and only 3 attended. Candidates invited to participate had a preference of 5% or more likely of Republican voters in independent polling released prior to May 1st. That included Daniel Cameron, Kelly Craft, Eric Dieters, Mike Harmon, and Ryan Quarles. Craft and Cameron declined the invitation. First off, the 3 participants were asked about low voter turnout. Early estimates indicate only about 15% of Kentuckians will head to the polls, and 3 candidates agreed people need to let their voices be heard.
That standpoint, it is a bit sad, but at the same time, we all need to come together. We all need to make sure that people honor that right, because people have fought and died for that right to have a vote. And I encourage people to go to the polls, even if it hurts me.
I agree with Mike that we need to have more people going to the polls. And I think it's about time for Kentucky to look at perhaps changing our statewide elections onto presidential years. I think you'd have higher turnout. I think you'd have more engaged citizenry. And I think it'd be good for us to have a break every once in a while.
So I think it's incumbent upon those people who are running for office to show the people of Kentucky that there's a different way and there's a different candidate. I'm the outsider, and my voter is actually the anti-establishment voter, the voter who's probably least likely to vote in a Republican primary.
Gun control was another topic in the wake of several mass shootings recently across the country, involving one in Louisville. CNN reports Kentucky has some of the least restrictive gun laws in the U.S. These 3 candidates say they do not plan on changing that.
With respect to the gun issue, I am 1,000% for Kentuckians' right to bear arms. I believe everyone should arm themselves. I'm the one that said, it's sad what happened in Louisville, but I'm the only person who said those people that worked in that bank, were they allowed to have a gun? I still haven't gotten an answer from the state media.
It deals a lot more with mental illness, but it also deals with evil. You know, sadly, we've had a crisis in families, we've had a crisis in faith, and when people fill their hearts with something other than God, you know, they fill them with hate, they fill it with anger, they fill it with whatever, then we see these problems.
I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. It's in the Constitution for a reason. I'm a gun owner myself. And I think that we need to help reset the dialogue on mental health in Kentucky. At the Department of Agriculture, 2 years ago, we actually started a mental health awareness program called Raising Hope. You can Google it, Raising Hope KY.
Early voting begins later this week on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can re-watch the hour-long debate right now on our website at WYMT.com. Former State Representative Jonathan Schell made a stop in Pikeville yesterday, campaigning for Commissioner of Agriculture, bringing his Defending Ag and Freedom tour to the farmers in the area. Schell, who hopes to secure the Republican nomination for the position during the primary election next week, says he would focus on fewer farming regulations, more secondary manufacturing jobs, promoting farm businesses, and being a voice for the people. He says that starts with hearing from those he hopes to represent.
It's one of the largest regulatory agencies in the state, but more importantly, I think that it is the voice of rural Kentucky, it's the voice of agriculture, and it's the voice of agriculture business in the state. And the reason that I want to meet with the constituents that represent this department is because you can't really know what you need. You can't really know what the issues are unless you're talking to people.
Once again, Kentucky's primary election is 1 week from today. People across the state are remembering a woman who became a key part of Governor Andy Beshear's team Kentucky briefings during COVID-19 and was an advocate for the deaf and hard of hearing. Virginia Moore died Saturday. She had been battling an illness for several years. She was the executive director of the Kentucky Commission on Deaf and Hard of Hearing. She attended numerous COVID-19 briefings and offered sign language for many events. People at the Kentucky School for the Deaf in Danville say she was an inspiration to them.
That was a great help to help the public know more about deafness itself and about American Sign Language because of Virginia being there in everyone's lives on their televisions during the pandemic.
Those with the Kentucky Commission on Deaf and Hard of Hearing say they are still working on planning memorial services for Virginia. We have a positive update to share with you about Louisville Metro Police Officer Nicholas Wilt. He was critically injured in the Old National Bank shooting in Louisville. Police say he has been improving all week and is now off of the ventilator. Well, they say he's shown neurological improvements and can follow some commands. He is still battling pneumonia and other infections, but they say he is making remarkable progress. Well, 2 months ago, Lifeguard Ambulance Service announced it would be ending its contract with Knott County, and that left the Knott County Fiscal Court to come up with a plan. Alyssa Williams has an update about the county's plans to move forward.
In March, Lifeguard Ambulance Service sent a letter to the Knott County Fiscal Court saying it would be ending its contract with the county.
Obviously, it was devastating for us, kind of wondering what we were going to do.
That's when the Perry County Ambulance stepped in to help.
We saw an opportunity to help a neighboring county, and of course, we want to do everything we can for the community.
Perry County Ambulance will be serving as Knott County's ambulance service for the next year, with Perry County ambulance officials saying this partnership could positively impact response time across Knott County.
The reality is we'll be based in Knott County. We'll have a base in the county in the same place the previous ambulance service was. So the response times will be equal to or better than what we had before. We will dedicate ambulances to Knott County. There will be dedicated crews, and we'll cross cover as needed, but I don't anticipate response times diminishing any whatsoever.
Knott County Judge Executive Jeff Dobson says once Perry County's contract with Knott County is complete, they can renew the contract or work to create their own ambulance service within the county.
We're a regional team, and whenever a neighbor is dealing with issues, Perry County saw that need and they stood up and said, hey, we're here to help. What can we do? Along with other counties as well, offered assistance, and we will be here for that same assistance for them.
Making ends meet to continue serving the people of Knott County. In Hindman, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Dobson says Perry County could begin the services as soon as this month. He adds, although Knott Countyans who work for Lifeguard Ambulance may have to relocate to stay within the company, he hopes to find a way to bring them back home in the future.
Coming up on 6:12, we are still tracking a few bands of heavy showers out there this morning, maybe some rumbles of thunder in some spots. Let's take a look, see what's been going on here, and you'll see a couple spots that we're watching. Actually, another one developing just north of Moorhead this morning. We'll keep an eye on that one here as well, but we're taking a look at these spots first, and you see we're going right here back into parts of Owsley and Lee counties, over into Estill County, coming out of Jackson County, also over into parts of Breathitt and maybe even toward the northern Perry counties there this morning. Just watch out for that. We're going to continue to watch again some lightning and that heavy rain. Special weather statement on that strong thunderstorm impacting portions of the counties we just talked about outside the WIMT studios. Lightning has died down just a little bit there. We're going to continue to see overcast skies, 61 here in town. Temperatures across the board there, 50s, 60s, and even a 70 out there in Monticello this morning. The next few hours take us into the mid 70s, but we see some clearing skies later today as well. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you so much. Coming up next, we'll learn more about the victims of a deadly mass shooting at a Texas shopping mall as their community continues to mourn.